Hadi,
What's up, man?
what's going on, man?
Thanks for having me.
Finally, we're doing this.
We are.
We've
finally.
spoken about this quite often, you and I.
Yes, we have.
And
Tried to schedule it and all that stuff. Yeah,
we did, and then here we are right now.
Monkey
First
Rock.
of all, I have to thank you for this room, because if it wasn't
Well, it's
for
not
you,
mine. I didn't create it, but I know the people.
give yourself a little bit of credit.
Okay, well, I gotta tell you, I did that wall. I'm just kidding.
That's
This
a
is
good
all the
wall.
work-
That's a good wall right
this
there.
This is all the work of the wonderful peeps here at Monkey Rock. This
Monkey
is where
Rock.
I do a lot of my rehearsing as well. So.
Really awesome. It's really cool. Really cool room. I hope this sounds as good as I feel right now.
It's gonna sound good, man.
It sounds
Judging
really good.
by the way the waves look, we look good.
Well, I think that's what we need to do right now, because you're talking about waves and all that stuff. We have to talk about who you are and why I'm here. And just before we do that, I want to say that you're the first person I speak to in this podcast so far. So you're the fourth or fifth person I speak to, if you count James Hetfield.
Yes,
but we're not going
I do count James Hetfield, man.
But we're not going to count James
That's
Hetfield.
the beginning, the Big Bang.
But let's just talk about the first three guys I talked. So what makes you different from these guys is that this is officially the first time that we sit together.
Yes.
So yeah, I met you maybe once
Hey,
in
what's
an
up? What's
office
going on?
setting
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
But the truth is, I've met you through your music, and
cool.
I've listened to your music way before I've actually known about who you are as a person.
Awesome.
I just sort of seen people share your music here and there on Facebook and stuff like that, and.
Yeah.
And it was a cover of Backstreet Boys, I think, that you've done some time ago, and that really took me in, because I loved your vibe.
Oh, cool.
I loved that you had this very dark thing about your music.
Love the darkness.
Although now that I sit with you, you don't seem dark to me at all.
The thing is, I actually don't think it's darkness. I think it's depth.
Depth. There you go.
It's not darkness. I mean, you could refer to it as darkness.
Dude, I love that.
I refer to it as darkness as well, because it's the contrast of things.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that I find so much depth in being able to do music.
Right.
And inward depth, introspection in music, and we can get into that if you like, but. So music is a kind of a form of meditation for me,
right?
And it's a form of getting to know myself,
right?
And it's like this medium that it runs on no bullshit policies. Basically, you can't lie to yourself when you're writing a song.
Yeah,
if it's a shit song, it's a shit song.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So basically, it's I don't know if it's darkness in the general connotation that people perceive it. I use the word darkness all the time when I'm working on songs and stuff like that, but it's not the dark element of evilness and stuff. It's more just void of light.
It is. What I found really cool about your music is that you create a really unmistakable vibe about what you're doing. You know what I mean? It almost became synonymous with you, you know what I mean? And that's amazing. Not a lot of people could do this. Not a lot of people could create a sound for themselves and say that, whoa, this sounds like Hadi. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
so
that.
That's pretty amazing. And I think it's very interesting that you changed the word darkness with depth, because that's really, I think, what it is. And I think that's the word I've been looking for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put my finger on it.
Well, the thing is, for me, I feel like when I'm approaching a piece of music, which is usually what I'm doing, because that's all I do, really. I'm not very good at many other things. But when it comes to music, I think that I want it to be an immersive experience.
Right.
I want people to, I mean, not just people, I want me to listen to it while I'm creating it and remember moments where, there's a sound coming from the left side here, just once in the song. And I like putting in the time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I like putting in the time to add these little road signs as you're kind of driving through the song and you're listening to it and experiencing it. So I like these little things, and I mean, I can't think of a specific story right now, but I like to embed things in the songs without even having to tell people. Just nuggets that make me happy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So wherever I can
Easter
do
eggs for you.
wherever I can do a little bit of that as a producer. Because I primarily come from being a producer.
Right. So you're a producer / writer, but mainly you produce, right? That's
mainly, that's what I do. I mean, for a living.
Right. Okay.
I'm a producer and mixer. Is that a
Okay, that's
like blender?
If it works, it works, man. Why not?
Yeah, I do mixing, I do mastering. I run Haven Studio. I record artists and bands and stuff like that. So I've been fortunate to discover myself through other people's music because I get to realize how much of a hypocrite I can be with myself when I'm sitting with other people.
Interesting.
Because like I was talking to a few friends of mine about this not too long ago. Is that when I'm sitting, like say I'm recording your song and I'm your producer, you come in with your ideas and you just you trust me. Like you give me the package, like choir saying like, this is it, I want you to take care of this.
Yeah.
And it's my job to treat that with utmost respect and utmost honesty. And then oftentimes, because artists trust me, I mean, I'm wrong sometimes, but
most of the times I'm right.
Yeah, most of the times. Not really, actually. I think it's a 50-50, but whenever I pitch something to the artists, it's never like, oh, no, we don't want to try that. They actually take it on board massively. And for me, I've come through music from a control freak background. I want to do everything. I want to learn how to do everything. I want to do it my way. And then when somebody pitches something to me, the nerves start to jitter.
Okay.
Like, oh man, I don't want to listen to someone else's like ideas and just get flooded by them and stuff. But then recently, since I've been producing bands for the last 4 years, it's really opened me up about, just welcoming in. Like I could show you one of my songs now, and if you say something to it, I'll actually take it to heart, and I'll go back and see if it's something I resonate with, and I don't have to change the song, but I'll like hear it with an open heart, and I'll actually absolutely love positive or negative feedback. It's all good. So
when did you go from, or where did you find that, okay, I want to start writing for myself rather than just producing?
I think it was 2015.
Okay.
I mean, I had done stuff before with the band, but as my solo stuff.
So you were in a band before?
Well, I still am.
Because I feel like we've just jumped into this, but we haven't properly. So you're a producer.
Yes.
You're a songwriter. That's how I know you through your music.
Yeah.
But you were in a band before as well, right?
Well, Benevolent is something that I've been working on for a very long time.
Right. So that's a metal project. Okay. Cool.
But I'm more into the solo stuff that I'm doing nowadays.
Okay.
I'm basically like. I'm full timing this. This is what I'm here on Earth to do.
Like, dude, and hats off.
Thank you.
Hats off, man.
It has its beautiful days. It has some days when it's slow, when you want to do more, and you just you're ready. But like things haven't quite materialized just yet. So some days it's a bit rough. But actually, I would say for 90% of the time, it's absolutely amazing because it's a very actualizing endeavor. You pick up the guitar, you come up with something, you record it, you can listen to it. It's tangible.
Yeah,
it's instantaneous.
Absolutely, man.
So yeah,
excellent, man.
Yeah, so it's basically where I swim most of the time.
So you sort of like did the Benevolent thing. So that's your metal part, right? So that's where you started like dabbling in that. So is your background more of a metal one, or is it more of a?
I've always listened to metal, and I've always listened to other stuff. I've been listening to Coldplay, right along listening to Meshuggah.
Okay.
So
see, that's why I think you and I are very similar in our tastes because.
What bands are you into?
Well, I mean. This might come as a shock to you, but Metallica Metallica is a band that I like. So
but
a shock. I know. Brace yourself. No, but I have the triad. I call the trifecta triad. On top of that pyramid is Metallica.
Nice.
The one side is Guns N' Roses, and the other angle is Pink Floyd.
Sweet.
So that's the three sort of, and I'll tell you why I love those bands because. At the top, there's metal, which is represented by Metallica. On the other side is Guns N' Roses, which is rock and roll, and I absolutely love rock and roll and blues and that sort of guitar playing. And then on the right side is the Pink Floyd, and that's where it becomes experimental, and it's really not about the technicality of your playing, but more about your ideas of what you're putting in your music. And I think if I would take why I was drawn to your music, I would put it in that Pink Floyd area. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you sort of like you're driven by ideas rather than driven by like, all right, I'm gonna do a very like really fast blistering solo over here. So that doesn't really matter to your music. To you, it's all about the idea that drives it. And just now you were talking about that.
I mean,
it's sort of
funny you'd mention the body work, right? Because I having worked on a lot of metal stuff, I've been more busy doing my stuff, obviously, in the last while. So, but I feel like metal music is the work of the limbs, of the body.
Okay, it's the workout.
it's you could call it that. And my solo stuff, the experimental stuff, is what you can do with your heart, not with your body. So it's not about how many notes I can play per second, or how low I can tune, and how much I can chug, and the meanest face I can put on camera while playing, which I love, by the way. All this is fun, you know. I love getting that side of me out on stage and stuff like that. So, but there's something about connecting to yourself through music, and then going to play it live, and then connecting with others, and just seeing people who don't know who you are, who have no idea where you've been, what you've done. They don't really care. But in that moment, while you're sharing a song or more, you kind of become friends. Because they know what you're saying in the lyrics, and they're kind of like understanding it in their own way. But it's like when you talk to someone and they feel you feel them, and you have that connection.
Right.
Could be at a house party once and you never see them again. But in that brief moment, you're close friends.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, I completely know what you're saying.
I love these moments. I live for these moments.
So you say, so when I tell you about my trifecta, what's your, like, where does your influence come from? Is there like a pool? Is there like a, go-to bands that you go to that you're?
I would say no, because it keeps changing. I've been listening to Amber Run. I don't know if you know these guys. On loop for like
no idea.
I'll link you the album.
I feel very ashamed right now.
No, they're not big actually. They're not.
I should just leave.
They're not big. They're not huge. They're actually still kind of trying to make a name for themselves. But I discovered them, I think on Deezer or something, or maybe my brother sent me a link. I can't remember. But so I've been listening to these guys a lot, and I mean, aside from the heavy music that I love Audio Slave, Creed. POD, old school.
Whoa, hold on. You just mentioned Creed.
Yeah.
I did not see that one coming.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not like the biggest...
Scott Stapp, you're like...
I'm not the biggest Scott Stapp fan. I'm not crazy about his vocals.
Okay.
But I love Tremonti.
Right. Yeah, Tremonti's brilliant.
Alter Bridge and the Tremonti's solo stuff.
Dude, I love Alter Bridge. I think they're phenomenal.
Amazing songwriting.
Really awesome stuff.
Very like organic and natural and stuff. So, so I definitely enjoy that kind of stuff. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, I like soundtracks.
Okay.
The Hans Zimmer and John Powell and can't think of more names, but
So I can see that marriage now. I can see why those both worlds are coming in.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
I like a lot of ambience, a lot of backbone. So stuff that you don't really necessarily know that you're hearing, but you are hearing.
Right. Yeah.
So you could have a track which is just drums and bass.
Okay.
And then there's some shit in the background that you're not really you're unaware, but it's making you enjoy the song more.
Yeah.
I like to get into that. Like I like to get into these what do you call them? Like hidden areas and songs.
Right.
I can't think of the word.
I got you, man.
I was trying to think of a clever word, but I couldn't.
That's all right. Yeah. So you mentioned Tremonti. So I think I see the darkness element I was talking about in the beginning. I think Tremonti does that quite well.
Yeah, sure. Blackbird.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, Blackbird is let alone the album, but the song is fucking massive.
Yeah.
That song is brilliant.
It's insane.
And I think he creates that sort of like vibe in his music. That Blackbird song, and there's also another one, Wings Darker Than Their something. It's on the third album, Wings Darker Than Their... it's a long... but you know what I love about him? He also, he sings.
He has a great voice.
He's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, his vocals are insane,
I actually didn't realize that he was doing back vocals until I heard his original stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized that was him singing with Scott and with Miles the whole time.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
and look... He's not gonna go Bruce Dickinson, right? He's not gonna be like operatic vocal or anything. Not even Miles Kennedy. He's not even close to what Miles Kennedy can pull off. But I think he has that range that just works for him and his band.
Yeah,
and
there's a sweet spot that he's just tapping into.
Yeah,
I love that,
and it just works for what he's playing.
It's perfect.
And again, I think I see why you like Tremonti because honestly, there is that sort of thing that you're doing there.
There's something about that guy. I think he's like, you know how they talk about the formula in music?
Right.
I think that he works the formula, but he doesn't do it in a way where he doesn't sit and think, I need to work the formula.
Yeah.
I think he is the formula. Like he is the embodiment of the formula.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever he touches turns to gold.
So what is that formula? I mean, what is?
It's not really a formula. I don't really understand it.
As a songwriter, as a like, how does that?
I mean, you could think of like verse, chorus, double chorus, and like I've realized that I have my own formula.
Yeah.
And I keep kind of repeating myself.
Okay.
But I like it.
So that's interesting. So you have a formula that works for you, and is that like a sort of a process that you do?
I think it's more like a knee jerk.
Okay.
You know, I think it's just like this is how I breathe. This is the speed at which I breathe.
Okay.
And that's the
how you write
structure that I use for songs.
Okay.
And I don't use it all the time, but like I'm not mindful. I don't have a sheet that says, okay, get the chorus done. And
right.
Get
but it just feels right.
But it feels right. That's how I always feel like it kind of says something. Mm-hmm. So the verse and then the first chorus, it's cool. Chorus is like a sense of conviction.
Yeah.
Verse 2, chorus twice, so double the conviction. So by the time the second chorus comes in, you believe the words more, and you're saying them twice. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of way that I kind of try to approach things. But again, sometimes a double chorus doesn't work. Sometimes the chorus is long. Mm-hmm. Having two of them would be too kind of boring there. Yeah. It would derail the song somehow.
Right.
But definitely find myself having my go-to kind of things, but if it's not broken, don't change it. You know, and I wouldn't change it because I feel like I should change now.
Right.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just gonna ask, like with vocals, did you have you always wanted to do vocals, or is this something
not at all?
Like,
actually,
stumbled on it?
I never wanted to do vocals ever, actually, and I used to hate my parts in the benevolent gigs where I'd come in and sing clean vocals for whatever 6 seconds per song. I used to dread that, but again, it's something that grew on me. Basically, what happened is I did a cover of Woods of Ypres in 2012. The singer of Woods of Ypres and the founder, David Gold, had passed away a year before, and he was a good friend of mine.
Okay.
I only knew him for 6 months, but he passed away, and I wanted to do something to pay tribute to him.
Okay.
So I covered one of his songs, and I completely redid it in my own way, and that was the first thing I'd ever done as me.
As vocal.
As me. It was vocally and just me under my name, not the band. So it was really well received, and it kind of made me want to, it inspired me. So I started doing more covers, and then I just, fell in love with singing.
Wow, man.
So, but I mean, it wasn't until recently where I'd be at a gig and I'm standing up next to the mic and I'm like, I have no business being the guy on the mic, but I had to work that. I had to tell myself that, have some faith and, just enjoy it and stuff like that. So it's definitely something I enjoy more.
That's
now.
strange though. I mean, it does take a lot of confidence, right? To get on in front of a mic and because I feel it's definitely the most,
revealing.
Revealing is a good word for it, and there's also, it reveals your flaws as well, right? Because if you just mess up some kind of notes,
you don't have
singing,
a wah pedal to
that's just
fix
you.
Your,
it's all you on stage, right? And if you fuck it up, then everybody's like, oh, this guy can't sing. This guy can't sing for shit, and that's very difficult. And me coming from a vocalist background. I could totally relate on that. It's I remember when I used to record with Milton being our friend from Private Government. He sort of he would remove everybody from the room and just keep it me and him because he knew I was self-conscious about a lot of these things. And I'd record something and I'd go back and listen to it. And he's like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, nah, man, it sounds terrible. It's like, no, it's fine. But at the same time, he would push me. I would think it's good, and he'd tell me, no, you're off beat, and you're, you're singing off time, and you know what I mean. So I'm sure vocally, it's very hard for you to come to that grasp of that thing.
It's super hard, man, because it's there's you're supposed to make people look at you because you're front manning the situation,
right?
And it's not really look at you; it's mostly just connect with you and just be with you in that
Absolutely.
moment.
Well, you're the face, you're the front man.
Yeah, and you're fronting it. You're talking. You're addressing. If I was talking to you and you're not going to look anywhere else because I'm talking to you. I'm addressing you.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the front man. If you're looking away from the front man, then they're not doing a great job.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So basically, it's difficult, but what I've learned from it is a lot of life lessons, actually, because I come from a very like particular OCD, afraid to make mistakes background.
Okay.
You know, I've kind of walked through life for the most part just kind of on my toes and not wanting to, you know, mess it up and make too much of a mess, and just try to be as silent and quiet as possible.
Okay.
But then when I started playing live as a singer, I found that the moments that mistakes happen are the best moments.
Yeah.
Because one, you have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
Two, if you're comfortable making mistakes, you can instantaneously connect with the crowd because you can joke about yourself messing up, and then they'll love you for it.
Right.
And they'll be very forgiving. Versus if you fuck up and you look down and you're like, oh man, I need to leave. Then people will start kind of turning away and leaving, and just you create an awkward vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So learning that the cool moments and the magical moments are when you allow yourself to make mistakes.
Right.
And you don't normally make as many mistakes as you think. And the mistakes that you think are mistakes are actually not.
Right.
So I've kind of learned about life. Like I can be a bit more experimental in my life and just take more risks and, you know, do more things that are out of the box and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, I think people want a certain level of genuine, you know, behavior.
Yeah.
You don't want perfection. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when I used to record, and I hear things that aren't necessarily perfect, I would leave them there sometimes because it felt human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it felt
it's like a little sneak into what you are.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's me. That's my art. You know what I mean? That's how I put it out there.
Yeah.
So I completely see where you're coming with this. But you're saying you come from a background of OCD and whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a certain characteristic, like a personality characteristic, that writes certain types of music, or are you drawn to that?
That's an amazing question, actually. Like, it's an incredible question.
I just threw it out there, man. That's
just out of thin air.
You're giving me nuggets, man, and I'm like throwing them back at you.
I have no idea actually how to answer that, because I don't know what it is like for other people.
Right.
But I know that
like maybe your personality type. How do you feel works for you? Like, is there a reason why you were gravitated towards metal in the beginning and then now towards this more mellowed out, you know, aspect of it?
I don't know sonically what changed, really. I mean, I still enjoy quite a bit of metal, but I probably listen to a lot less metal than before.
Right.
But I don't know if that's something that I was conscious about or that I am conscious about, or I don't know. So, but with regards to like which type of songs a different kind of personality would write, I don't know. I actually want to research that. I genuinely want to research that.
I've always thought about that, you know, because so I'm drawn. I mean, I think, like I said, we're very similar in terms of tastes of music. So I'm drawn to metal, and I'm drawn to, you know, the more atmospheric vibe, like I told you. But I feel like I'm not an angry guy. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm just not an angry person. So when people think metal, they assume
brooding, broken.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Broken home. You know, like a very
tattoos everywhere.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. I'm like the complete opposite. You know, of that. I'm just like, fuck it. You know, I'm happy. You know.
You and I are giving metal a bad name. Tattoos and all that.
Exactly. You know. So and I'm wondering, like, is there a reason? Like, am I compensating for a certain personality trait?
Yeah.
Through metal, like is it addressing my anger in a way that's healthy, and it's just sort of like
it's a camaraderie thing, because metal has all about the camaraderie and the group effort, and
that's right,
the band and the fans and all that stuff.
Absolutely,
know? I think that's in metal it's super strong. And I mean, I'm not dissing other genres. I love all sorts of genres, but I don't know what it's like in other genres. Like I don't know. I feel like with pop music, it's just pop music. Right. You know, you don't have that sense of strong following, maybe, in the way that metal.
I think I know what you're saying. You're right. In pop music, it's so mainstream. Nothing in pop feels like you own it as an individual. Do you know what I mean? Like, but when you're looking at a metal band, you know that in nature it's somewhat not mainstream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So even though a band like Metallica is really mainstream, but there's still an aspect about Metallica that isn't mainstream. That it's it's something that you feel like you own a part of, and a Metallica fan is almost your brethren. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you like Metallica, I like
Yeah,
Metallica.
yeah.
Shit, like we can bond over
The
Metallica.
sense
You know what I mean?
of ownership that you're talking about is actually like spot on. But I also think it has a negative impact on artists.
Interesting.
Because let's say you have millions of followers and they're all super, like, they have the ownership factor in, and they absolutely love like your first record or your second record.
Right.
And then everything you put out, it's going to be in the shadow of that record
Right.
by that group, by that clan of owners.
Yeah.
The shareholders.
Yeah,
just breathing down
initial
your neck.
shareholders, yeah.
Breathing down your neck, and I think it's fantastic when people are that passionate about four dudes or one dude or whatever artist. It's amazing,
Yeah,
right? They're passionate about what these people are creating and what they represent for them. But I think it's very important along the journey as an artist, whether you are a musician or any kind of artist. I think it's important to just like really tune in, like create you,
Right.
Because I've seen some bands that I love try to like copy previous records that they've done and re-release them,
Right.
and then realizing that even when you do that, people are going to hate it. The haters will hate. And the people who want to be on your side, like, will love it. And there's a few bands that I used to love from before that I don't listen to anymore.
Right.
But I don't feel the need to like hate on them.
Right.
I just feel like we have an amicable departure.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right there. I'm not right there.
Yeah.
Maybe later in life I'll be right there.
Okay.
But all the power to you. You do your thing. I'm gonna enjoy
Right.
other things that are living in this frequency.
I think you're right. I think in the metal community, that's something that's very prevalent. When you say that a band is always held accountable to its first album or second album. You know what I mean?
Or the album.
Or the main album,
Yeah.
And then everything is going to be compared to that first album, So, and I think it's very particular in the metal community.
brutal. Yeah.
Like Machine Head, for example, one of my favorite bands. Is always held to an unbelievable standard when it comes to their first album, Burn My Eyes. It's just like, your second album, not as good as Burn My Eyes. And it was like a life story of this band, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kept back to going to, and it's also with Metallica and like Pantera and like all these metal bands, you know what I mean? But I just find it very interesting, the psychology behind metal or music in general. I find very interesting.
I think we need to research this personality versus type of music.
It's
because
something
I think there's going to be some indicators.
It's very fascinating to me. You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost like I feel people who are into metal almost always. Well, I don't want to say always, but you almost always see them. Again, also always, but for the sake for the sake of this conversation, we're going to use always as a just a word. Non-definitive. I like that.
Yeah.
They always go to this. Fuck, I did it again. To this area where it's almost like the Pink Floyds or the Zeppelins or you know what I mean? Like, it's not really metal, but it's almost an area where it's experimental and. Like, and I see it with you. You went from that metal area with Benevolent, and I have to confess, I have never heard of a Benevolent song, but I'm sure you're gonna hook me up with some after
I'll send
this.
You some links. For sure, man. You should have told me. I would have brought a CD.
I should have done that. You know what? I think I'm so hooked to this stuff currently that I forgot that you've done anything before that.
It's totally cool.
And
man.
even as preparing for this, I say preparing, but I listened to a couple of songs. But I was on your YouTube page and I was on the playlist and I was just listening to, and I only have 2 original songs up there, but those are the 2 songs I kept playing.
Nice.
So I didn't make that connection with you and Benevolent, but still. That being said, so I saw that that theory of mine true with you, where you went into that experimental side rather than the metal side. So I just find that very interesting. What happens, but you still retain some of your metal elements, right?
I mean, look, the thing is, it's I don't like to classify myself into any genres. Because some parts. You remember the Amber Run band I was telling you about?
Yeah.
There are some parts in their music that could very well sit in a metal outfit.
Okay.
But they're just an indie pop band.
Okay.
The same thing goes for other artists. You can feel these metal moments or whatever you want to call them, just moments of like strong emotional barrage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
really
that
good.
could just be a piano, but
Well, isn't that what metal is, right? It's it's very strong emotion. Like,
yeah, I mean, sometimes some genres are more based on the sonics of it, like the sonical barrage.
Right.
I'm more into the emotional barrage.
Okay.
You know, like a flood of emotions that I could like feel that way from a guitar. I could feel that way from drums or a singer. It could be a cappella.
Right.
So I really don't like to. I think it's kind of weird to say, "Oh, I'm this or I'm that," because I really don't know. I'm kind of figuring it out as I go along, and the plan is to continue to try to figure it out.
Okay.
Because we're ever changing, right? I mean, the stuff that you listen to nowadays. Imagine you have a band, right, and you're writing, and you put out a record 7 years ago.
Yeah.
The stuff you're listening to now is so different. There's probably some similarities,
right?
But you've definitely picked up a new thing, or maybe the same bands, but you're listening to different songs and you're enjoying different records,
right?
But more than you did before.
Absolutely.
So how
we do evolve, you're right?
Yeah. Why would you take like how can we expect ourselves to take the right for people to change? You know, it's like almost this like fixation. Like, if I fall in love with something you did, I want you to grow and evolve as I do, parallel,
right?
Because you're a sense of safety for me in life.
Absolutely.
And if we change, I feel like I'm losing a connection with my past or something like that.
Yeah. I think a band that does that really well, I don't know. I mean, some people hate them now, but they've went from this metal, staple of metal, all the way up to like a very acoustic, like
who's that?
Well, not but Opeth. I think they went from this really dark, heavy, growling band, progressive metal, and now they're this progressive rock outfit and playing like kind of like 70s. Progressive rock
it even
sounding,
sounds like 70s
right?
records.
It does, right? There's a rush feeling about them right now, you know, which I don't mind. I actually respect the band that is confident enough in itself to get to that stage. You know what I mean? And Michael Ackerfeld would say straight up, "I'm not interested in metal anymore." You know, so
and the thing is, you don't like you and I don't have to love that record for it to be a good record.
Yeah,
we can hate it. But and that doesn't mean it's a bad record or it means a good record. It's just a perception, right? I mean, you and I both can watch the same movie.
Yeah, very subjective. You're right.
Yeah, we can watch the same movie unless it's actually terrible. Right. Like terrible, like shot with like an old phone or something, not even poetically done that way.
I mean, you could be good.
Could be good, yeah.
Blair Witch Project, that was a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. Even that. Like, so it's hard to say something's good or something's bad.
Right.
But I think the way that people latch on to things like movies or in this case music is that it's that moment in time in their life that they want to go back to. It's not the band's songs. It's not the band's record.
Right. So the memory that.
Yeah. So like the first time I heard "Nothing Else Matters," right? I was just blown away. Like my life changed in that moment. Yeah. It changed forever.
Right.
And nothing will change me the way "Nothing Else Matters" has changed me.
Nothing else matters.
Exactly.
Just that song. There we go, man.
Nothing will. So
do you remember that moment? Do you remember like?
No, not that song. I remember listening to "Finally Free" by Dream Theater for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And I remember
fucking love that song.
Yeah, and I remember like not even being able to believe that the guitar playing was real.
Okay.
Like I had to go back and forth and then look up live videos to just see. Is this for real?
So like, I mean, I'm interested to know, like, walk me through that moment. Like, how did that feel to you? Like when you...
It just feels like endless possibilities because I was a very young guitarist. I had just gotten started. I probably had been playing for less than a year.
Okay.
And then I just came across that and I'm just like, like that really kind of instilled the obsession.
Okay.
Because I was.
So John Petrucci was...
John Petrucci, Mike Portnoy, James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Michael Romeo from Symphony X, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Wow, man, that's
Joseph
a very
Triani. Yeah, I mean, I was
diverse.
into that virtuoso kind of like wanting to shred.
Yeah.
And it's just not me anymore.
Okay.
But it definitely helped me because I learned how to speak the guitar language a bit better. But yeah, I mean, it's like when you experience something like that for the first time.
Yeah.
It's just like it throws you into a big tangent.
Right.
And I'm still on that tangent from that moment.
That's insane,
honestly,
man. Yeah.
It's just like it changes your direction. It changes your like coordinates and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that album is brilliant.
It's amazing.
It's
the production, the mixing, the performances.
It honestly changed. It was the first proper progressive album I listened to, and that particular song, "Finally Free," it's the fucking bomb, man.
It's beautiful. It goes from soft to heavy, and it's got really melodic moments, and it's I don't know, the infrastructure about it. And I also remember like the sound of the acoustic guitar strums.
Right.
I just couldn't believe I could feel Petrucci like sitting next to me when I heard it on headphones, because it was just so beautifully recorded.
Yeah.
And that was way before I had any access to any software. I had no idea, so I was just getting into it. So it's literally like a little kid walking into a toy store.
Right.
And just seeing all the colors. Like, I don't know how to take all this in. I just need time.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
And it's one of these songs that sort of, like you said, lives with you for such a long time, and you just sort of like, it becomes a staple in your collection of music and inspiration as well.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you get into this?
Podcasting.
Yeah.
What?
I know you're a Joe Rogan head.
Yeah, dude.
Which I am too. By
really?
The way. Yeah.
Well, we gotta do another.
I love Joe Rogan, man. I love
Really?
Joe Rogan. I mean, I'm a UFC fan.
Okay.
So
there you go.
that's how I know of Joe Rogan.
That's your door to Joe Rogan world.
But the thing about this guy is he's very intuitive and very insightful.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's aware of that, but every time there's a fight, the stuff he says leading up to that fight.
Yeah.
If you want to put money on someone, just listen to that guy. 'Cause
Really?
He usually calls it right.
You know? I've never heard any of his UFC stuff.
Okay.
Is that, like, I've entered the world of Joe Rogan from a completely different
podcasting
window.
side, yeah.
The podcasting area. I think for me, I started listening to a lot of podcasts because I run a lot. So I mean, every day, that's my routine.
What stuff were you listening to? Like specific topic stuff or just general talk?
Well, I started off with just newsy stuff. So like, I used to watch this show called Morning Joe.
Nice.
And it was the U.S. election cycle. And I wanted to keep up with what's happening. And, I knew there was a debate and I want to know what happened with the debate.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like a sport, you know what I mean? The post, the
reviews, the updates and all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Donald Trump did this and Ted Cruz did that. And so, that entertained me a lot, while I was running. I know it sounds completely boring to people,
Not at all, actually. I like that because it's like you're doing more than one thing at the same time. Well, it's almost meditative.
Well, it is to me. I'm running and it disconnects me from everything. You know what I mean? I'm in a bubble when I run. You know, and so I started getting to podcasts and I'm also into like the world of startups and so on. And I started listening to a podcast called Startup and from there started listening to other podcasts and so on, and eventually landed on Joe Rogan. Yeah. And Joe Rogan took me into this whole other world. You know what I mean? Of just free thought and being open to other opinions, and it's okay to feel offended by different views, and it's okay to disagree with other people, and it's okay to just sort of like have a conversation about things.
And he's really like sleek and chill with the way he does it.
He is. He has a talent for sure. Like the way he talks is. It almost never sounds like nonsense, It always sounds like, that's profound and it makes sense. And he's a guy who reads a lot, you know what I mean? So it makes a lot of sense.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't know, he says he's not educated about.
Exactly. That's why he has Jamie, the guy who looks up.
Young Jamie.
So I need a Jamie in my life at some point. So when this podcast takes off. That's pretty much it, man.
Where do you like? What's the goal, or is there like? Is it just like let it snowball and see where it goes?
I don't know, man. I mean, look, for me, it's. I always think of. What makes me happy. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Why would you not?
That's. It's. I know. It sounds like a very simple question. What makes me happy? And then throughout the past few years, I thought that. Thinking of a business idea that I would immerse myself in would make me happy. So I had 101 different ideas every day. And I would think like, oh shit, this is a great idea. I'm going to follow this idea.
I've been there,
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I want to do that and I'm going to do this and crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And I found that it didn't make me happy. It made me unfocused. Like I just come up with.
It's like a distraction,
right? Yeah, exactly. And
it's counterintuitive because you think you're being productive, but you're actually just wasting your energy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it. You waste your energy on things that aren't productive. You know what I mean? And I just decided that I'm going to stop thinking about any business ideas or anything that I think I should do and I don't end up doing, because God knows I have so many ideas. Yeah. And when you end up having so many different ideas that you want to do, it just becomes like, well, what do I end up doing? And so I decided that I don't want to do anything.
Nice.
And I'm just going to stop everything and for 6-7 months,
step back.
Yeah, take a step back and declutter my brain,
that's amazing,
and
man.
that's what I needed to do. And I realized things that I enjoy are podcasting.
Yeah.
Simple. I like that. I enjoy talking to people.
Easy barrier to entry.
Yeah, it is. So you need a little Yeti mic. That's it. And a GoPro. That's all you need.
Yeah.
But forget podcasting. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here with you today. I love talking to personalities that do things that they love. And let's have that conversation. So that's one thing. Another thing is sneakers. I know that's something that's really that's why I have my. It reminds me every time. That's I love this stuff.
So how did the sneaker obsession start?
Man, I don't even know.
Is it unusual? It feels unusual to me. Is it as unusual?
It's pretty. It's a culture.
Like, it's cool, unusual.
It's a culture. I have to say, it's a culture, and I don't expect anyone to understand it. I thought my wife was going to be the one into shoes. Turns out that I was the one who was into shoes, and not the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it much because I don't expect people to understand it. You know what I mean?
But it's for you.
It's for me. Exactly.
You don't do it
exactly.
for people to like it,
honestly, I find a sneaker that's limited edition, and I buy it, and I'm happy.
Yeah. So what do you do as a sneaker enthusiast? How does that work?
I haven't figured that one out yet. I'm thinking of doing something maybe about it in the future, but I might do a website or something sometime in the future. But
so it's all about like collectible items, right?
Right, collectibles. Yeah. See, I like you, man. You totally get what I'm saying.
Geek, man, when it comes to gear, guitars and stuff. Yeah.
But that's it's not hard explaining things to you. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So that's pillar number 2. So let's look at pillars, right? Number 1 was conversation. Number 2 is sneakers. Number 3 is food. I fucking love food. I love food. So burgers is a thing that I keep going back to. Burgers and shawarma. These are 2 things that fucking pillars of my life. You know what I mean? Those 2 things that I love. And then of course there's music. But music, let's call it the foundation, right? So that's the sort of
goes without saying.
Yeah. So these are the things that I love. Anyway. But the thing that I'm drawn to the most is conversations. Dude, I like to talk about anything, right? Yeah. Today I'm talking to you about music, and obviously this took a completely different tangent, from music.
We're
talking about shawarma and all that stuff, I like to talk about startups. I like to talk about, businesses, religion, anything that we just, when you sit with your friends and you're sitting in a house and it's like 12 a.m. and you start talking about something and
juicy
suddenly,
topics,
and suddenly it's like 4 a.m. Like, oh man, I need to go home. That's the sort of conversations I like to have having. Pretty much. You know what I mean? So how do you take that to an arena where it's almost acceptable and it's targeted in a way that makes sense?
Well, you just take it, right? Because I feel like, and I went through a similar thing. Like I think the counterproductivity is very productive of your endeavors with trying to launch a business, because we can always go back and think, what if I had done that?
Right.
I had these millions of business ideas. At least one of them was going to make me a millionaire.
True.
I was going to be the next McDonald's or something, right? But then since you actually tried it and you experienced the emotion of sitting there trying to do it, and you realize that it's just not you. It's like you're off center when you're doing it.
Exactly.
You're just like, you know what? Tried you, not for me.
Exactly.
And I could say the same about, being employed and stuff like that. It didn't work for me. It didn't make me happy.
Right.
And so I couldn't not be happy. Accepting a state of unhappiness is not something that I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's very true.
I want to be happy. And being happy involves being sad. It's not like you're euphoric and you just want to hug koalas every day. You know what I mean? You have your off days, but you're on a path. You can feel like you're centered within something that really feels authentic to you.
Absolutely.
So I guess maybe that was that role of that few months or few years that you spent trying to dabble with business ideas. Right.
Well, something very important. Look, I think I started chasing something that wasn't really true to myself. So I started chasing things that is just for the sake of saying that I'm doing something. Rather than I'm doing something that I love. And I think what you said is really important, is that do something that centers you and do something that you love, and you can go after it. And if it works, it works. It doesn't work, who cares? You can try it.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. It will work, because if it's you, I'm a firm believer in like things just work, man. And they take time. It's not like it's not like the guy who, like, if I'm a musician and I decide to be a musician, it's not like the guy at the label is sitting by his phone waiting for me to call.
Right.
No, there's a process,
Yeah.
and the process is beautiful because it shapes you.
Absolutely.
You know? It really just it roughs you up sometimes in ways, like it's like going to gym. You rough yourself up so you can get muscled up.
Yeah.
And it just works things in you to get you ready. But it is a process, but it's a beautiful process because
Absolutely.
in every step of the way you're breathing true air, and every step of the way you can feel yourself just connect within yourself, and you sleep better, you're happier, you laugh louder, you have more fun in life. You know, your decisions are made from a very conscious place rather than just kind of moving with life.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not just like subscribing to things that are prescribed by society or that are expected of us and stuff like that. You just tear these things down, man. You know, and you just do your own thing. So being on that path is amazing. It's different.
It takes time, and it's a hard one to be on. I mean, look, I'm not a unhappy person, right? I'm happy. I've got like you said, happiness. What is happiness, right? It's not koala bears every day, right? It's not that. But it's I think happiness maybe and being content in a way that is satisfying could be a good sort of synonymous to happiness, maybe, because happiness seems to me as bursts of like moments, right?
But it's stressful to think I gotta be happy,
right? But
it makes you unhappy.
But if you're content and satisfied and self-actualized, you know,
exactly, self-actualized.
That's for me is where you want to be as a person, right? And it's a process, right? You're gonna get there with time, and you're gonna get there with you know, with a lot of failures and a lot of discoveries and a lot of like being so frustrated with yourself that you're not attaining the things that you want to attain, and so it's difficult.
My language.
You know what I mean? Like it's. I feel like we are speaking the same language. That's good. But I mean, look, it's like I said, it's just find the things that you that make you happy to begin with, like that take you away. You know, like take you away from your routine, that take you away from your.
There's this thing that I read somewhere which changed my life. It's kind of silly to think that something that small changed. I mean, it's numerous things that have changed my life, really, but and led me to deciding to do music full time. Because when I was back in university, I was like, music full time? Hell no.
Right.
I'm just going to get a job, and I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to strum in my bedroom. And then, you know, a few years later, I'm just like, that's not enough for me. I need more, right? But then I read this thing, and I can't remember the exact words, but it was a quote where it said, the things that you do when you're, what is the word? When you're not doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, you know, when you're procrastinating, can't believe.
There you go. That's
because I'm a professional procrastinator. I know this word.
I even procrastinated the word.
I procrastinated the word. That's amazing. So with the stuff that you do when you're procrastinating is the stuff that you should be doing for a living. And that's just
interesting.
That is amazing, right? Because I would procrastinate on music, you know.
That's such a good...
Not study and just do music. And
it's a very good quote.
Yeah, very good quote. Very life-changing. Conor McGregor style.
For me right now.
It changes everything. Right? But it's little things, you know. It's little things like that. And, you know, like, for example, when I had a day job, I was having a rough time at the day job. I loved the employers.
So if you made me ask, like, don't tell me the company, but like, what was your background?
I was doing the last thing I did as a day job was I worked in marketing in the media kind of sector.
Right.
And employers were great. Everybody was treating me great, but it was just long hours naturally, and it was just far from me. It was like I do longer hours now. As doing what I love, but it doesn't haunt me because I'm just doing what I love. I'm I'm قاعد, you know, بالحقل تبعي. I'm in my backyard planting seeds, you know, all the time, and it's my stuff. So, but I remember the last month before I actually just said I'm done. Whenever I would turn on the radio or like flip through TV channels or scroll down Facebook, I would see something about someone quitting their job and pursuing their dream, and it was just constant. And I was like, okay, this is kind of bizarre. It's kind of weird, you know. But I'm just gonna take it on. Like I don't have to make sense out of it over who's telling me this is the universe. I don't care.
Okay,
it's just I'm hearing this and it's speaking to me.
Okay,
and it feels right.
Right.
So I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And obviously the just do it part takes time because you got to muster up the courage to do it because you're jumping in open water.
Well, you got to have a fallback plan, right?
I mean, I did. I had a bit of a fallback plan, but not really very well thought out now that I think about it. But it worked out because I was lucky.
I'm running out of money.
It worked out because I was lucky. But I think we become lucky when we take the plunge. We get lucky.
I mean, look, it's you're right, absolutely. And if you have like this is the thing with people who like say quit on Facebook and like I'm just gonna live my life, those people for me are like, cool. Are you rich? Because I'm not. So there's that.
I gotta work for a living.
There's that too.
Yeah.
So for me, it's you gotta have almost some kind of like fallback plan.
Yeah, you
kind
do.
of. That I don't want to call it a plan B, but at least think your path. Or at least make sure that your path is going to lead you somewhere 100%. That because I mean once I was thinking of something and some guy told me that for me to support you with this financially you're going to have to quit your job and do this on your own for a year, put your own money and then like maybe I'll support you with it. But for me I was like, well wait, I'm paying rent, I have my
life's happening
exactly. So it's easier said than done to do these things, you know what I mean? So hats off to you for doing it, man. I mean, it's really awesome to take that plunge and to, and you've been doing it for how long now?
Video died.
We've been over an hour. All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going, man. It's okay.
Audio.
We can continue on audio, man.
Cool. So I did. I think October 2013, October 31st, 2013, Halloween, now that I think about it, was my last day of being employed.
Okay.
And so November 1st, 2013 till now, I've just been kind of riding the waves.
Okay.
And
2013?
Yeah, 2013.
Dude, that's insane.
Quite a while. Yeah, quite a while.
Wow.
But, I mean, I had a little bit of like something to like cushion on to get myself started, and I was initially looking at getting a different kind of job and stuff like that, but then the studio happened and I just kind of got into it and things just worked, and they're continuing to work. And as I said, some days are hard, some wilds are hard, sometimes it gets easier, and things just kind of align themselves somehow. You just gotta stay open to the process and work with it and stuff like that. Do your part, basically.
And that's amazing. You're still sort of like that's fine for you.
Yeah,
You're
just gunning it, man. I'm chasing it. I'm going after it. It's gonna happen. I have faith. I really believe. It's not because it's me. It's because I believe in it.
Yeah.
Like I am a firm believer that we create our own realities. We create our own life if we choose to.
Right.
And it's mainly because I tried not doing that, and it's seriously not worked for me. Like anxiety problems and all that stuff, and now I'm just really chill and relaxed and pretty happy. So
that's awesome, man. I mean, it's really incredible that you do these things, and it's that you followed your dream, and not only are you producing like for bands, but you're also producing your own thing, and it's kick-ass. Like, I mean, the stuff that you do is great.
Appreciate it.
I absolutely love your material. And is there any like plans for you to release something in the future? Or
what I'm doing now is,
are you doing like a track by track?
Track by track. Okay. That's what's happening now. And I think by the time this comes up, Sleep Awake gets released on the 19th of June.
Okay.
Which is tomorrow, but I shouldn't even say tomorrow because this comes out
next week.
Yeah. So it's just check out my page. Sleep Awake is out. Ocean's been out. There's gonna be another song. Hopefully every month I'll push something out because I've got a ton of material.
Okay.
That I've kind of been sitting on and afraid to release, afraid of the world for a while.
Really?
Yeah. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
So what's a complete song for you? How do you say, done, let's do this?
It's done the moment it gets created. I never go back because I like to respect the moment within which a song gets made. It's like you can't have a baby and then send it back and then order another one.
I don't like the length of its arm.
You know what I mean? I like to just let it exist the way that it needs to exist without me trying to shadow it with I need to sing louder here because I want to show my new vocal capabilities.
Yeah,
that sucks. I'm just gonna.
So are you a one track guy? Like, are you just sort of give it one go, or
no, not at all. I mean, I'm a producer, like multiple layers. And
right.
That. But usually my vocal takes, I do I do like a full take once if I know the song.
Really?
Yeah, I do a
That's
full
difficult,
take.
man.
It's a little difficult, but I mean, it's because it's within like my range. If I was doing someone else's song, I'd suffer probably.
Okay.
But I would do like one take of the full song to get me warmed up, and then I do the second take, and then I do a third. Usually the second take is the one I use.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, I use the second take.
Okay.
And then if I need to like fix something, if I said a word in a funny way, I'll just overdubs and stuff like that.
Right.
But mostly, I'm a minimalist. You know, the first guitar take, if it sounds good, I don't need to do it again. Move on, just quick. You know.
Okay.
Because there's ideas flowing.
Right.
At me, it's like raining on me. So I'm like rushing to try to get everything kind of like essenced out on the track the way I'm hearing it.
I wonder how your do you use Sonar or what do you use?
I use Logic.
Logic. I wonder how your Logic looks like of all these tracks.
There's
right?
usually like 30 to 40 tracks.
Yeah, I would
between
assume
drums
that.
and bass and all these.
There's so much atmospheric stuff going on in the music.
Yeah.
So like,
but you can get a lot of atmosphere from just a couple of guitars and a couple of keyboard tracks. You know, you use some nice fine reverb and a few delays that are different, you know, timed differently. They'll create their own world.
Okay.
You know, they start to have like a kind of a mind of their own somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
dude, I mean, like, I'm really truly looking forward to what you're writing. Are you playing live anytime soon? Or
I don't have any gigs booked in right now, but I'm hopefully after the summer, get a few shows.
Well, yeah, it is very quiet now, right?
It gets a little quiet here in the
very.
I mean, playing live is the name of the game for me. I just love it.
Do you watch any live performances?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's what fuels me.
Does anything happen in Dubai that I'm not aware of? Because I'm not sure.
There's a lot. There's a few shows coming up actually in the summer on the heavier side.
Right.
Which I can send you links to.
Yeah. Are you going to send me a lot of links after
I'm going to send you a lot
conversation?
of links after this. And then there's probably a bunch of things happening after, because, you know, there's also like the indie and the pop stuff, which is great live as well. The production is awesome and stuff like that. So there's usually enough things happening to keep us busy in town. Okay. But as far as my gigs go, nothing booked in yet, but I'm sure some stuff will pop up.
Who's your favorite live band that you've seen so far?
That I've seen physically?
Yeah.
Metallica, hands down, man. I almost cried the whole way. Honestly, I couldn't believe.
Which year though?
2013.
2013, April. Okay, yeah.
I could not believe my eyes when they came on stage, because I was like I've seen every DVD.
Right.
I've seen Some Kind of Monster maybe like 8 or 10 times.
Yeah.
And so I've really and I've seen the Death Magnetic making of probably 16 times.
Yeah.
So just seeing them there in the flesh, and I got pretty close to Lars towards the end when he came down to give the sticks.
Oh wow, you're up front.
I mean after every song, some people would go to get drinks. So I would squeeze in, and so by the last song I was pretty close up front, and he was probably just distance of that guitar from me, and I couldn't believe it, man. But I mean, you met Papa Hats, so.
I've seen them 5 times, man.
Really?
Yeah, 5.
Oh man,
5 times. I've seen it twice, obviously here in Abu Dhabi. Once in Spain. Once in the first time I saw them was in Germany. So it was 80,000 monsters. You know, nice. German fans who are Metallica fanatics, and I was front row. That's how I knew I could do anything I put my mind to. You know what I mean? Because everybody told me before I went to the show that. There's no way you're going to be front row to this concert. It's going to be 80,000 people. You're crazy. Yeah. There's no way you're going to be front row. Sure enough, woke up really early in the morning.
Nice.
Lined up and ran to the gates, ran to the barricade, and I got to the front. I was there from 8 a.m. all the way up till when Metallica came on stage at 10 p.m. Dude, I died, but the moment they walked on stage...
It was worth it.
I was like... Yeah,
and you didn't move anywhere, right? You were
I was hungry. I
didn't
was
have food
thirsty.
On you.
Nothing.
Jeez.
There's this guy in the front row was passing around a bucket of water, so putting a glass of water and giving it to people. But I was worried of AIDS and syphilis, and I was like, "That's exactly seems like a lot of diseases." I'm not touching it. So
you can pick which disease you want. You can come with Chaz that specific one.
Do you want syphilis today, or do you? Yeah. So I decided not to drink water.
Nice.
But it was it was magical. It was a magical moment. The moment Hetfield walks on stage. This is like you said. I've seen every DVD, every YouTube video, everything.
But it's something else when they're there, right?
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
It's incredible. It was amazing.
I mean, they've been in all these places and now they're here, meters away from us.
Yeah, absolutely,
it's
man.
Insane.
But there was something special about their Abu Dhabi show because it was it's very different when Hetfield says, you know, United Arab Emirates, we are here.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Fuck, man, that's me. That's where I am. That's where I live. You know what I mean? So
He's talking to me.
yeah, I'm like, I'm one of these guys. It's different when he says, hey, Germany. It's like, hey, I'm not Germany.
You know what? I also think it's because they've only been here, what, twice?
Yeah, twice.
So it's still the new place.
Yeah.
And they've been around for, I mean, there's only a few places that they haven't played for the first time.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so, or the first or second time.
I'm hoping that they could come back again, man. I mean,
hope so.
really, really hope so.
Tour the new record. So.
Did you see the Guns N' Roses show?
I did not. I was working. Was it
Come
good?
on. It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was Slash, Axel, and Duff. Like,
Jeez.
why would you need?
I know.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
It's all good.
We were doing so well for the past hour. I ruined it. And this is it, man.
Busted up.
I want to flip this table right here.
Yeah. But it was packed, right?
It was, yeah. Whoa, man! It was 30,000. Yeah, it was insane. It was amazing. It was a really good show.
Jeez.
I would recommend, if you ever stumble upon this, and if you ever decide to travel or anything like that, Roger Waters,
Yeah.
from Pink Floyd, puts on a mean show.
Yeah.
The guy is 70 plus.
I've been hearing that actually.
Yeah, but he's incredible.
Nice.
Incredible.
You've seen him live before, right?
Yeah, I've seen him play The Wall. So he did the whole like production of The Wall,
Nice.
and like it was amazing. Like,
Incredible.
what an amazing performance.
Amazing.
So he's doing a new tour now.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a Pink Floyd fan,
I love
it's
Pink Floyd.
it's so magical. man.
Absolutely love Pink Floyd.
I've seen David Gilmour as well. Also an amazing performance. Not as good as Waters.
Really?
Yeah. Because Waters puts on a show.
Yeah.
You know, Waters
Yeah.
puts on a like.
It's probably that connect, man.
Yeah, even if you like, it's almost like you're going to a Broadway show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and you're
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
what's happening on stage. Gilmour is just a very small, like, there's a couple of guys behind him.
Right.
Small stage. Even
Right.
though he's playing in an arena, you know, it feels like he's
Feels
in a.
smaller.
It feels very small. And if you're not into Gilmour's songs, you'll get lost. You know what I mean? So
and there's a lot of solos, right? And
Very
it's-
solo stuff, yeah.
But for me, I mean, David Gilmour is David Gilmour, right? If I see him, I probably wouldn't get bored. But for me, I like things in like less is more.
Right.
You know, so if I don't like listening to extensive solos.
Right.
And I love the
Me too.
guitar. I love guitar solos, but I like short and sweet.
Right.
You know, one solo for a couple bars, get it done, move on in life. You know what I mean?
I think Gilmour, I mean, that's why for me he's my favorite guitar player, because he's not a wanker. He's not a fret wanker.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
He knows his notes. You know, like he just chooses a couple of notes and he plays them, and he plays them really, really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I absolutely love
He's
David
got his
Gilmour.
language. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you can hear a couple of notes and just know it's him.
Yeah, he uses the Fender Stratocaster, right?
Right,
That's
right, yeah.
that's his.
That's his thing.
And he makes that sound. He makes the guitar truly speak
Yeah.
and weep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, we've been going on for an hour.
Longer, probably.
Actually, exactly 1 hour.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But man, I love this.
Thank
This
you
is
so
really
much. Me too. I had a good
For a
time.
first conversation ever, I think it went truly
did
well.
pretty
You know?
well, yeah.
For people who are watching, I'm sorry that you are now looking at a
Blank
still
screen.
screen
Yeah.
of you and I. You know,
still screen, yeah.
But it's okay for the last 10 minutes. It's not a problem.
It's cool.
But thank you so much
Thanks for having me, buddy.
taking the time. I know you live quite far off from here, but thank
Yeah.
you, and thank you for discovering the studio, man. It's
Yeah.
really cool. I think I'm gonna make it a regular occurrence.
You'll be in good hands
to be
here.
here. It's really cool. I love this. I could keep talking because I could see the levels of. It looks so good,
So
man.
good, yeah.
it looks so
Those
good.
waveforms look great.
They look amazing, man. But thanks so much for
appreciate it. Thank you
introducing
for
me.
having me.
And yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Hadi Sariedine.
Yes, you got it.
I got you.
That's it.
Please like his page on Facebook.
Do that.
He is also on YouTube and
Instagram and all
on
that.
Instagram, and you listen to him, you will not regret it.
Thank you, sir.
That's it.
Sweet.
All right.